You're listening to the Hella Well with Danielle show, a podcast taking women of color on a journey exploring all things wellness and travel related. We're all about showing you how to put on your oxygen mask first and creating lasting self-care habits that will free you to travel the world and live the life you truly desire, and not one you have to fake loving. I'm your host, Danielle Washington. Now let's buckle up and start this journey. Welcome to the Hella Well with Danielle podcast, your weekly mental vacation from the daily grind for busy women who just need a moment to pause, breathe, and woosah, because sometimes life is lifing and it can feel impossible. I'm your host, Danielle Washington, and I wanted to talk about the mix of two things I really love, and that's yoga and astrology. From a little girl, I was that person who was looking for the Cosmopolitan magazine or whatever magazine it was. I wasn't reading it. I was flipping directly to the horoscope section because I wanted to see what was it saying about my life. So I'd flip to that section and be like, oh, okay, this is what it's saying about being a Virgo. And I'm like, why does this actually resonate in such a powerful way? I'm like, how would they know? They don't even know me. And so horoscopes has been a part of my life for years. I've been like reading my horoscope, learning more, learning about the difference between tropical and Vedic astrology, which is a whole other conversation. Flash forward many years later, I was going through my Kundalini yoga teacher training, and I discovered that there's a connection between yoga and astrology. And I have been now utilizing this for a bit now. And I was just like, why are you holding on to this information, girl? It's time for you to share it with other people. But before we get started, as you know, I love for us just to tune in, creating a sanctuary for everyone in this space. Also getting us to just kind of tell our nervous system like, okay, we're here, we're safe. So if you can, I invite you to inhale and exhale with me. We're going to do some breathing exercises through our nose. So inhaling deeply through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold. And exhale all the air out of your nose. Taking a moment just to be still. And know that I'm grateful that you're here with me today. So yoga and astrology. I told you about my love for horoscopes, and I told you that I discovered how to mix the two. But a lot of people don't know that Astro yoga or yogic astrology has been around for thousands and thousands of years. So I'm not the first one to discover this. It's been around forever. So it was before Instagram came around, but it's a great way to connect the planetary, what's going on in the sky, with what's going on in your life. And honestly, you're probably already using it. If you've ever done a moon salutation around the full or new moon, you're practicing Astro yoga. If you've ever done a sun salutation around the solstice, you're practicing Astro yoga or yogic astrology. So you're probably already doing it and not even realizing you're doing it. And if you've been practicing anything like Kundalini yoga or used any types of mudras, you're practicing it then as well. And probably didn't even know it, because if you look at your hands, the hands connect to different planets. So if you look at your pinky, it's connected to Mercury. If you look at your ring finger, it's connected to the sun. If you look at your middle finger, it's connected to Saturn. Your index finger is connected to Jupiter. And your thumb is, depending on who you talk to, is connected to either the Earth or it's connected to Mars and Venus. And each of those planets have, characteristics. Mercury is known for communication. Jupiter is known for expansion and prosperity. So when you're doing yogas and yoga movements and you're pointing your index finger up, or you're doing something where you're touching your pinky finger or you're touching your index finger into your thumb, you're practicing Astro yoga. Practicing and knowing what you're doing, two different ball games. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, because I don't feel like people are aware that you can utilize the power of this. Because with utilizing Astro Yoga, because it goes beyond our what we do during the new and full moons, it goes beyond different lunar events. It connects also not just to the physical body, like I was talking to the hands, but it connects to the chakras. It connects to the subtle bodies. It connects to the nadis. It connects to the mudras. It connects to the mantras, the pranayam. There's all these different alignments with the planets, the zodiac signs, the elements that all come together that can help you make sense of what's going on in your life. It can help you make sense of when, oh my God, there's this Mercury retrograde, and gives you tools to be able to flow easier and move smoother through these situations. And that's why I love yogic astrology. That's just one of the reasons why I love yoga astrology. I love the fact that it helps you personalize your practice. It helps you tailor your yoga practice to your unique astrological chart. And we each have our own unique astrological chart, even if you're a twin. Because when you were born, it's like someone like took a snapshot of where the stars were in the sky, and that's what's called your natal chart. So for me, my natal chart shows that the sun was in Virgo if I'm looking at tropical. And there's a whole difference between tropical and Vedic, and I'm not going to even go into that. But it shows exactly where everything is. And so based on that, I can create a yogic practice or a therapeutic plan utilizing astrology and yoga together to work on certain things. Like say if I had something that like Saturn in my seventh house. The seventh house is considered the house of relationship, and Saturn is all about rules, restrictions, and delays. Well, if I didn't really want some delays on my relationships, maybe I would do some practices that will help to ease the Saturn transits in my life. So that's kind of one way to think about how you can utilize this. It can be used to enhance your self-awareness, like integrating astrology with yoga deepens your self-awareness. It helps you understand your strengths, your challenges, and potential paths for growth. It helps you align better with this cosmic energies that are going on. Like right now, we're in what's called the eclipse season. There's like all this energy, but if you don't know what's going on, it doesn't help you. But also, if you do know what's going on and you don't know how to use yoga to help you, it's like these two great things. You may know about one, you may know about the other, but not knowing how to mix them together, you're not able to basically take advantage of the knowledge of the two things that you're using, which is yoga and astrology. I also like using Astro Yoga because it helps you improve your decision making. By understanding the astrological influences on your behavior and your emotions, Astro Yoga can help you make more informed decisions that are in harmony with your true self and the current cosmic energies versus you out here like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. Why am I feeling this way? How can I fix this? How can I ease some of these feelings I'm having? Yogic astrology also helps with emotional healing and release, specifically astrological alignments that can highlight areas of emotional baggage or trauma. Astro yoga offers like targeted practices, certain asanas, pranayams, meditations, kundalini kriyas that can help you alleviate some of this emotional baggage that you're holding on and help you with emotional release and healing. I love that it also is just about helping you with spiritual growth, manifestation, cultivating some balance and harmony, which we all can use in our life, and it helps you adapt to what's going on in your life. So how do you use this? How does this work? There's a couple different ways you can use it. So one way I talked about is utilizing your natal chart and looking where all the planets are in your chart. And you most likely probably need someone to kind of help you explain, okay, this is where the planets are and this is what it means. Because you could look at one thing and think, oh my God, my life is ending. I have my south node in this planet in this house and this is really bad. And it's not the case. Oftentimes it takes, you can look at your chart 2 or 3 different ways to get to the same information. But so looking at one planet alone is not always the full story. Like I was talking to someone I met recently. He's like, "Oh, my sun is in Virgo, and so I'm all about just being a Virgo." And I'm like, "Well, no, not exactly. When people are asking about your sun sign, that's one aspect of your life. It's actually the sign that the part that you really want to be looking at is your rising sign, because that really tells you more about your personality than your sun sign. I learned that. When I learned that, I was just like mind blown. I was like, oh my God, this is so more like me than my other sign. But I was always thinking, well, why do I feel so Virgo? And I feel so Virgo is because the placement of my Virgo is in my 10th house, and it's my Mercury. So the placement of my Mercury is in my 10th house in Virgo at a point in the degrees where it's like I'm more Virgo than most Virgos based on where my Mercury is placed. So I say this all to say it really helps to have someone to be able to read your chart, help you understand what you're seeing, and then finding someone, if not that same person, who can then come to you and say, okay, I see your chart. Here are ways that you can use meditation, kriyas, asanas, pranayama, and all these different things, yogic related, to help you move through your natal chart and some of the things that may be good, some of the things, and nothing's good or bad. I probably shouldn't say good or bad. Some of the things that may seem challenging and help you move through or help you expand some of the things are that feel beneficial. So that's one way to use it. Another way to use it is kind of what we were talking about earlier, is when you have the monthly new moon and full moon, the moon is in different places at different times. And so say the moon is in Leo and you want to do certain aspects during that time. New moon is often talking about, manifestation, coming in new energy, and what do you want in your life, sowing seeds. And then with the full moon, oftentimes people talk about it's about letting go and releasing. And so knowing where the moon is in the sky, knowing what planet it's in, and knowing where that planet is in your chart. And so, for example, if the moon is in your fourth house and it's in a certain planet, the fourth house is all about family and home. The 10th house is all about career. And so knowing all those different things will help you. The third way of doing this is not just following the moon, it's about following the transits. So following the planets are all moving at different times. Mercury goes back and forth, Venus goes back and forth, Mars goes back and forth. And knowing where it is in your natal chart can help you then with someone who knows astro yoga to be able to help you, okay, during this time, here are some things you can do. And so for me, I was so curious. I had someone who was really helping me to understand astrology and understanding my chart. I had someone who was helping me understand Kundalini Yoga and how to utilize it. And then I was like, okay, I know that these two things can work together. So I decided to do a training to where I took a yogic astrology training so I can be able to utilize these things together, not just for myself, but to also help other people. And so I like having classes where I'm talking all about how we can utilize Kundalini Yoga or Yoga Nidra, pranayama, and meditation to help us move through some of these things. For example, let's take an example of a situation. I don't know. Let's say right now you have Chiron, which is like known as like the wounded healer, and it focuses on like trauma and emotions, stuck emotions and wounds. And you have Aries, which is known as being fiery, it's known for like renewal, courage, and all these different things coming together. What does that mean? How does that look like in your life? The best way I can describe it is telling you a story. So here's a story of Aries and Chiron coming together. Aries represents like new beginnings, like the fresh breath of air right after a long winter. It's the energy that inspires you to get up and move. It helps you embrace life's challenges with courage and excitement. Aries is Aries in your life is like that moment you decide to put your favorite music on and dance around the room like nobody is watching. You are doing your thing, you are all in that energy, you're feeling good, you're feeling fiery, just because it makes you feel alive and free. It's that part of you that says, yes, I can start over. Yes, I can be bold and assertive in myself. Yes, I deserve to pursue what makes me happy. And then you have Chiron, which is a little bit different. Chiron is like that hidden chamber in your heart where you've stored away all the hurts and disappointments and all the like heartbreaks that you've encountered along the way. These are moments that feel like when you feel unseen, when you feel unheard, when you're unable to express your true self. Chiron shows you that these wounds are not to sadden you. It's not about making you sad and making you feel more down. Chiron's all about helping you to use these moments to guide you towards your healing. It's like that wise friend who tells you that it's okay to acknowledge your hurts. It's okay to use them as lessons and helping you to learn from them, and then using them to grow into a stronger, more compassionate person towards yourself. So when you mix Chiron and Aries together, when they come together, they're like two forces in your personal story. So imagine you're at a point in your life when you're ready to rediscover who you are and beyond the roles of your responsibilities, beyond being a mother, being a partner, being an employee, being whatever role that you, all the different roles that we play, because I know if you're like me, you're playing a lot. But there's a voice inside of you as a result of those past wounds that will often whisper hella doubts and fears holding you back, saying, nah, you ain't got this. You can't do this. And that's where the magic happens. When you're invited to embrace Aries' fearless spirit, to face those deep-seated wounds head on, because Aries has this fiery, I got this, I can do this, I can start over, I can get through this type of energy. It helps you to stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm worthy, I'm capable, and I'm ready to heal and move forward. It's about using your inner strength and fire to heal those parts of yourself that felt broken, to reclaim your sense of self and step you into your power. And this is how I see how the planets work together, and depending on where they are. So like that was an example, is if Chiron is in your sign of Aries, that's how those two work together. And this could be in your natal chart, or it could be Chiron moving right along into Aries as it is right now. And Chiron's one of those asteroids that moves hella slow, but right now it's in Aries. And so you're getting the effects whether you know it or not. Speaking of what else is going on right now, whether you know it or not, is the total solar eclipse that's happening on April 8th. This is a significant celestial event where the moon passes between the earth and the sun, completely blocking the sun's light for a brief period. So this event happens during during a new moon when the sun and moon are in conjunct with each other. Eclipses are often seen as like powerful symbols of astrology, representing like moments of profound change, introspection, and revelations of hidden truth. The way I like to think about this as the new moon and all those manifestation things like on a Jamba Juice boost. It's just like a strong boost to that energy. So, and whether you're paying attention or not, it's happening. It's happening in Aries, so it's about marking a powerful time for new beginnings, emphasizing self-discovery, assertiveness, and taking that courageous, bold move into something that's moving you forward. Aries energy is all about the individuality and initiation of action. Then you have that it's in conjunction with Chiron. So Chiron's still hanging out in that same location when the eclipse aligns with Chiron, particularly in the sign of Aries. It highlights a period where we're confronting and healing personal wounds related to self-esteem, identity, and the courage to be yourself authentically, period. And then if that wasn't enough, why not we just throw in a Mercury retrograde time period at the same time? And Mercury retrograde is a period known for when communication mishaps happen, technical glitches happen, and it's a time to reflecting on past decisions. So it's a time when the universe asks us to slow down, review, and reassess our thoughts and plan. So how do all these things come together and work out? Well, it's a great time to focus in on healing and reflection. Combining all of these celestial events prompts us into a unique opportunity for deep personal healing. The solar eclipse energy is about what I was saying before, that new energy in Aries encourages you to face your old wounds, which is that Chiron influences, and with courage. So again, the solar eclipse season, what's happening April 8th, it's all about you having the courage to face some of those old wounds, those old narratives with courage. Mercury retrograde added into this mix adds a reflective layer, urging you to think about deeply about your identity, about how you communicate your needs and your desires, and how you can move forward with authenticity and self-awareness. So those are some of the themes. So you're probably wondering, okay, great. I understand. How do I put this into practice? How I would put this into practice is I would look at different things. Like you can look at different kriyas that will help you focus in on the healing aspect. You can help you like working on something like the meditation of healing your heart, something that helps you with emotional balance, something that I love in this time when I'm thinking about, okay, if I'm trying to work through and fire through some of that thoughts of self-doubt, some of those old traumas and those old wounds, what I would automatically think about going to is looking for something that connects to the third chakra, that Manipura chakra, that navel chakra, that core, and things that help with that personal power, that self-esteem, that assertiveness. I think in Kundalini terms of Nabi Kriya. Nabi Kriya is one of my favorites, but Nabi Kriya, Kriya for elevation. Also, looking at Sat Kriya is another great one because it kind of moves that energy. Looking at Kriyas that use or meditations that use Rama, Dasa, Sase, Sohang. And that mantra is like the universal mantra of healing energies that help promote the emotional and physical well-being. And there's so many other ways you can do this. There's using other practices, but those are some of the ways I would consider connecting the current energies of the Aries total solar eclipse with Chiron right there and with Mercury in retrograde. If you're looking for a practice, I would 100% tell you don't go outside on the solar eclipse. This is not a time to do rituals on the day. This is not a time to go out looking into the sky. If you want to do it, go for it. You know, I've always been told eclipse days are days to rest, to reflect, to go within. What I'm saying is what you'll want to do is you'll want to do some of this stuff the day after or maybe the day before. I am hosting a class called Emerging from the Eclipses, and it's literally we're emerging from the eclipses and helping us connect with this energy of renewal, or connect with this energy of working through some of these internal wounds with courage so we can move through it with ease. So if you're looking for something to do post eclipse season, join me on April 9th. I will be doing a class online at Lotusland in San Francisco. So it'll be in person if you're in San Francisco. It'll be at Lotusland in the Mission District, and then it'll also be online. And the class is from 7 to 8:30. So with this class, it's not just going to be a Kundalini yoga class because I felt like it needed to be a little bit more. So it's going to be a mix of Kundalini yoga. It's going to be a mix of yoga nidra. And it's going to be a mix of Reiki. So mixing all and meditation. So it's mixing all these different modalities because I don't believe in a one size fits all. I feel like mixing all of these to finding the right cocktail will help us really be able to work through these energies. So I'm hoping I will see you there. Other than that, only other thing I can plug is coming soon is a retreat. I'm thinking about putting together a retreat in Todos Santos in Mexico in December. So if that's something of interest, leave me a note. Other than that, utilize this time before and after the total solar eclipse to go within and check in with yourself. How are you showing up for yourself in a more courageous way to work through some of those things that have been holding you back? Let me know if I can be assistance to you. I'm always here. You can always go to my website. I do consultations. But other than that, I will talk to you next week. Ciao. Thanks for joining us this week on the Hello Well with Danielle show. Make sure to visit our website, hellowellwithdanielle.com, where you can subscribe to our show on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music and never miss an episode. Also, you can follow us on social media at Hello Well with Danielle on Facebook and Instagram, and Hello Well Danny on Twitter. And if you like hella love the show and got some good nuggets out of it, know that I'm not too proud to ask for you to please leave a rating or review on iTunes so that we can continue to expand our reach and help other women of color. Again, thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week. Ciao.